Alright, as someone who just hit Diamond and is now pushing towards Master, we need to talk about Ranked and some changes the mode badly needs. While the concept and broad structure of the mode work, at least on a basic level, as someone with nearly 700 hours in Battlefield 6, including almost 150 in Battle Royale, there's a lot of nuance the mode is missing. And while I understand Ranked is a very new idea for the franchise, and the developers are hiding behind calling this a Battlefield Labs experience, the fact is they've also talked about spending years building this mode. At this point, it's public-facing, it has rewards attached to it, and it could eventually support millions of free-to-play players. I think calling it a Battlefield Labs mode is just a safety net. It's the same thing we see with game previews and early access labels, a way to soften criticism while avoiding the pressure to make meaningful changes. Meanwhile, the mode gates player progression and is really a time sink more than anything else. Because right now, despite Battlefield being one of the most dynamic and team-focused shooters on the market, Ranked boils all that complexity down to two numbers: kills and placement. And that's where the biggest problem starts. The mode rewards kills, but does a poor job rewarding everything that actually leads to those outcomes. Team play, support actions, vehicle play, objective control, revives, logistics, the things that make Battlefield unique are almost completely absent from the Ranked equation. So while I genuinely enjoy the mode and the rewards it gives players to chase, the journey to those rewards feels surprisingly one-dimensional. Today, I want to break down where Ranked succeeds, where it falls short, and the specific changes I think it could make to feel much more like Battlefield and much less like every other Battle Royale on the market. But guys, if you like in-depth reviews and discussions about all things Battlefield, drop a like and hit subscribe, and let's talk Battle Royale Ranked. Now, to start, I want to talk about what I actually like about the current state of Ranked Battle Royale. First off, the class dynamics, gadgets, and squad synergy are genuinely excellent. They're good enough that players coming over from the base game will immediately recognize everything and get off to a running start. While there are some mode-specific changes, like drones losing their zoom function, other gadgets have found entirely new roles. The Engineer's TV-guided rocket is a perfect example, becoming a surprisingly powerful tool in the Ranked meta. Mechanics like the motion trackers, claymores, weapon specializations, and training paths become far more important in Ranked. Even something as simple as prioritizing XP and missions so you can unlock a custom loadout early can completely change how a match plays out. There are a lot of smaller details that reward players who invest time into the mode. Respawning with stronger weapons based on progression path XP, faster support revives, engineers opening safes more efficiently, and assaults plating faster are all great systems that add depth over time. Outside of gameplay, Ranked offers solid progression. The rewards are easy to follow, ranks are clearly visible, and the overall structure works. Personally, I'd love to see that expanded with exclusive cosmetic rewards like full player skins. Imagine getting a new Ranked class skin every season until eventually building out a squad of master tier operators. Overall, the structure, rewards, progression, and ranking system are all in a pretty good spot, with one exception. The rank icons themselves need work. From a visual design standpoint, there are simply too many silver-looking ranks. At a glance, Diamond can look like silver, while Platinum actually appears more prestigious because of the blue coloring. My solution is simple. Keep the silver exactly as it is, turn Platinum into an emerald rank with a green color palette, then give Diamond a glossy, icy blue finish that actually feels premium. The ranks need stronger visual identity, and reducing some of that silver repetition would go a long way. But those are cosmetic issues, so let's talk about the problems I have with the game. First up is RP. Now, I don't think Battlefield's ranked RP system is bad, but it is incredibly basic. It doesn't properly account for the teamwork and sandbox interactions that make Battlefield unique. placement, kills, and assists should absolutely remain the foundation of ranked progression. But right now, things like revives, redeployments, squad wipes, clutch saves, and objective-focused support play are almost completely ignored. Adding a squad wipe bonus alone would solve a lot of this. Beyond that, giving limited RP rewards for revives, resupplies, redeployments, and missions would better reward players who contribute in ways that don't always show up on the scoreboard. There have been countless situations where I down a player, watch them get revived, and then see a teammate finish them seconds later. Suddenly, what should have been a kill or assist just disappears. Squad wipe bonuses, down rewards, or even end-of-match damage bonuses would do a much better job recognizing team-oriented playstyles. And speaking of RP, kill and assist caps need to go. Or at the very least, they need to be raised dramatically. I've had games where I win the match and still lose 70 RP because I played too well. I understand the logic behind anti-farming systems and anti-cheat safeguards, but getting capped after a handful of kills feels ridiculous. Maybe those caps serve some purpose behind the scenes, but from a player perspective, it feels terrible. Whether it's intended to slow boosting, stop cheaters, or simply slow progression, the result is the same. Players get punished during their best matches. And that's the exact opposite of how ranked should feel. Next, we need to talk about second chances. I understand why the system exists, and I actually like the idea behind it. The problem is how long it remains effective. What should be a clean 4v4 engagement often turns into two squads endlessly reviving and respawning, creating situations where a fight can involve 12, 14, or even 16 total lives. Players come back with plates, weapons, intel, and fresh opportunities to re-engage. Combined with third parties, it turns the early game into a giant TDM. Instead of individual respawns, I think a second chance should become a team mechanic. If your squad gets totally wiped out during the opening phase of the match, the entire team gets one additional drop somewhere else on the map. One chance, that's it. The winning team gets to move on, the losing team gets another opportunity, and the pace of the match improves dramatically. Because right now, it can take 10 minutes just to get below 25 squads. But moving on, I think the team seriously needs to reevaluate endgame circle locations. Too many final circles end in open fields or random terrain near the center of the map or off the far edge, instead of around actual points of interest. Personally, I'd heavily weight final circles towards POIs, and honestly, this issue exposes a larger problem with the map itself. If you look closely, the map is basically a giant bowl. Most major POIs sit around the outer edges while everything funnels inward and downward towards ground zero. As a result, there aren't many meaningful structures breaking up sightlines in the center. Whether you're in downtown or combat training, you can often see hundreds and hundreds of meters across the map, because there's no major centerpiece similar to Verdansk's city to interrupt those long-range engagements. So while I would love to see a completely new map someday, for now I'd settle for circles favoring POIs over open terrain. And finally, we can get to the biggest annoyance about the entire experience, and that is the restriction on ranks within your own party. As many of you know, ranked lobbies already contain an enormous range of skill. I've seen top 25 players in the same match as bronze, I've seen masters and new players sharing the same lobby, and when I solo queue, that's often exactly what happens. So explain this to me. Why can I, as a platinum or diamond player, not queue with my silver or bronze friends? If bronze players can end up in matches with masters anyway, then what's the point of restricting parties? The matchmaking pool is already wide open. My best guess is that it's another attempt to prevent players from boosting friends through the ranks, but instead it ends up feeling like a system that actively discourages people from playing together, and that's a problem. because no ranked mode should punish players for wanting to squad up with their friends. Now, at this point, I could keep going. I could talk about red sex latency issues, the inconsistent hit reg, the laggy looting, or the bugs that still show up years into development.
What the fuck just happened to my screen game?
Whoa, dude, you got rubber banded. I saw that.
But those are conversations for another day. For now, these are the major changes I'd like to see as soon as possible. Because despite all of its issues, a Ranked Battle Royale has a solid foundation, but they're not putting enough love into it, and they're not paying attention to the nuance that makes Battlefield special. The class system, the progression, the squad gameplay, it all works and works very well. But the systems around it and the map it's placed on just don't work well enough to complement the entire experience. The problem is that so many of the systems surrounding it just feel unfinished, and the devs are hiding behind the fact that they're calling it a Battlefield Labs experience, although they mentioned that they've worked on it for more than 4 years. So drop those comments below and let me know what you'd change in Ranked, and drop a like and hit subscribe for more Battlefield and FPS content. And as always, thank you guys for watching.